Hey everybody, it's Durgertime. Thank you for joining me for Total Extreme Wrestling 2016 Local to Global Cyberpunk Reborn. So for those that are joining us, as you know, this was the show. Originally, we were taking Cyberpunk Pro Wrestling, a little backyard indie fed, and turning it into a global powerhouse. But we're still doing it. We just restarted because our hardware had a massive failure. But we're doing it here. I think we're going to do it better. If you guys watched the last episode, we did some hiring, so we have some people here, some familiar faces from the previous Cyberpunk incarnation, Kimberly and Brian Pillman, some other people. We also have some new people. We're getting some of the Hawks in from Chikara. One of the things I wanted is I kind of wanted a more heavier cyberpunk futuristic style to the wrestlers and the theme. And I think as I critiqued where we were for the 10 episodes or so of regular Cyberpunk, I felt like we got away from that. We never fully embraced it the way I would have liked. I'm a very story-focused player in this game. I don't care that much about the stats and this and that. I really care more about how do we use these tools to make an interesting story. And I felt like we never fully got there with Cyberpunk. We were doing some cool stuff, and it was a lot of fun, but I think we kind of got diverted by the numbers a little too much. It was almost like a little too CZW light or something. So I'm going to keep that in mind as we're kind of building, that we're going to want to have, a little bit more of a different twist to it. And one of those might be like renaming people. Like maybe not everyone's going to be Brian, maybe Brian Pillman Jr. is going to have a different name or something like that, right? We'll look at how things go. I almost am styling it off of, and I think I said this in the first episode, the idea of like blending that Lucha Underground vision of storytelling mixed with like a Chikara styling, and combining those together. Chikara is very light and family-friendly, and Lucha Underground is a little bit grittier, but kind of takes place in its own universe, where it even renames its own wrestlers a lot of the time, so they're not the same people. They're like, those wrestlers are portraying different versions of themselves, even if they're almost identical. I think we might be doing something to that effect here. So, maybe we change people's names, change people's identities a little bit. Not everybody, but we will keep that in mind as we go forward. Now, we still have some people in the woodwork, and I think probably enough to start the show. Some good young talent, like Whisper is in Chikara right now. It will be good for us. This might be one that we might change the name of. Eddie Kingston, we probably won't. But maybe Ace Austin will change the name of, or stuff like that. So we'll look at where we are. We also need some titles. We do have the Cyberpunk Grand Champion, but we also need. I might think of doing. I'm going to set the tag team up now. Mid-card tag team, no limit, and that looks good. Cyberpunk Tag Team Championship. Okay. Nope. Oh, must still be in that save file somewhere. I'm just going to write Cyberpunk Tag Team then. I can never remember whether you need the championship part or if it's already kind of in the coding for the name. Sometimes it's funny, like if you play WWE, you make those like the 2K19. If you make a custom belt, sometimes it'll be like championship champion. Like it says the word like 5 times. Okay, so we need to set up a show. Let's check our schedule real quick. So mostly open availability. We're probably going to want to definitely free up Pillman, Kimberly, and probably Kingston when he's available. It looks like Thursdays are going to be probably best. So let's go ahead, and what we'll do is we'll do a monthly show. Where are you? Monthly, first Thursday of the week. Sorry if you guys hear that from outside. They're doing some kind of construction work, like right outside my house. And I've been waiting and waiting and waiting all day for them to stop, and they aren't. So you're going to be hearing some weird noises outside, but we'll deal with it. So we're going to have Cyberpunk. So I think what we're going to do is we're going to do a monthly show, one a month, and then every other month we're going to do like a pay-per-view at the end of the month. So we'll do like a week 1, week 3, or week 4 kind of thing, and rotate out. That'll give us a little bit more of a momentum boost without having to go crazy on the expenses. So Cyberpunk. That's so loud. God. I might pause this video here and jump ahead. But so we're gonna call it Cyberpunk something. Gotta get a good name for their monthly show. I mean, it could just be Cyberpunk Live, but that just seems so boring. We might just call it Cyberpunk for now. We'll just call the main show Cyberpunk. I don't want to do like Cyberpunk Live. So Cyberpunk itself is on every Thursday, and then we'll have a pay-per-view cycle going forward, and we'll start doing that probably the next month. So we're gonna go through a large expanse of time before we really move on to local and regional. But that might be the best way to go forward with it. So let's go ahead and let's sim ahead a week. Ooh, actually, let me change that first. I can't have a show tomorrow night. That would be crazy. I don't have anybody here for it. So let's do week 2. How about we say? That should give us a week. We'll go ahead and sim 5 days. Hopefully we have everybody in the bank. Or we'll sim 7 days. Or 6 days, and if not, we'll advance it one more time. But we need to make sure we at least have our ref and some of our wrestlers be able to run the thing, right? All right, let's go ahead and sim it, and we'll be right back. Okay, so go ahead here, take a look what's going on, and we should have some. Okay, I think that's everybody. So let's go ahead and get everybody in, and then we will auto push them. So now we're going to have to make sure that we play it very safe with our money because we only have $2,800. We're not going to be making much, very much at all. We're basically the money that we're getting about $400 a week in sponsorship. So that's for I don't know, local restaurants and stuff, giving us money to feature them in posters around the ring and stuff like that. So we're not getting much money, and we're going to get some ticket sales, but we really have to be careful that we don't eat up our funds as quickly as possible. So we're just going to have very, very light matches. That's why we don't have a big roster. Let's auto push everybody and see what we have here. Poor Neuromancer. Oh. Enhancement talent. Really? That doesn't seem right. You're not that bad. Moving you up. That seems a little much. Listen. It's your show. Okay? You're gonna be main event. Okay. So little top heavy, actually. The Whisper, Eddie Kingston, Neuromancer, and Kimberly. Nighthawk, Ace Austin, and Darren Ali are upper mid-carders. Stella Gray, Brandy, Brian Pillman are mid-carders, and our lower mid-carder is Young Joey. Which seems odd in terms of pricing. I mean, it's not bad. I mean, we could, Right, so, I mean, they're all about evenly priced all around for the most part. We may want a few more lower mid-carders, a little top-heavy. So we might look at maybe grabbing 2 more wrestlers just to have some options. because that might be a little low. Let's go ahead and look at our face and heal distribution too. So typically, yeah. So like we need to change this. Neuromancer actually should probably be face. Gimmick. Any gimmick for face that suits him. Let's see. He's not going to be great that much, but let's do any basis and see what we got. Actually, I kind of want gimmicky. Let's see what we pull up here. Cyborg. Actually, it's not a bad one. That actually might not be that bad. It'd be kind of dumb, but how about weird? Let's see. Find a good gimmick for him that will fit. Wholesome. Let's do fan favorite for now. That's a pretty easy one to pull off. All right, so we need some heals because we don't have any in here for some reason. Eddie Kingston. See, that seems weird to me because I just never view him as a babyface, but should be heel. We technically should have more heels than faces. Typically, if you look at how a wrestling show works, within your main event, or really within each category, there is a legion of heels facing 1 to 2 faces. Because typically you want opposition for a hero. So, you want everyone fighting. Basically, you don't want good guys fighting good guys that often, unless you're running like a very athletically realistic sport kind of thing, where there's more about friendly competition. You kind of want probably 1 face for every 4 heels or something like that. So we need to have 1 face and then mostly heels in each of these categories where possible. Otherwise, it doesn't really make sense. And obviously, Eddie Kingston should be our heel for the main event. That's easy. Neuromancer's face. Kimberly's probably face. So Whisper should probably be a villain as well. You have alternate. We'll keep you masked. We'll keep the mask on for his heel run, I think. We'll keep the Whisper. Whisper's a good name, and it fits. What's your skill set for gimmicks? Kind of average all around. So let's go. Let's see what we can get him to be. See here. Comic book villain. I mean, creepy might be not horrible. Crazy, awesome might not be horrible. I almost like the idea of the cult leader aspect, but we just don't have enough people for it, though. Let's do creepy, realistic. Okay, so we got a heel there. So we got 2 heels, 2 faces. That looks about right. In the mid card, take a look here. We have Ace Austin. We have Nighthawk and Darren Allen, or Darby Allen. Darby Allen probably will be fine for a heel. So has strong heel and face. Ace Austin's probably fine as old school face. And then we had Nighthawk. So I want to bring them in. I actually want to bring them in as heels, as this Tron team of like sort of these enforcers that are, you know, voiceless kind of mechanoids that are just trying to run roughshod. So I think that's what we'll do with them. Young Boy Joey, I think we're gonna have it as a face. Basically the face that constantly gets beat up by the bigger, badder guys. Stella Gray is our lower mid card. Well, Brian Pillman's probably best as a face. Let's see what Brandy Lauren looks like here. Average on both. Old school face. Okay. So Stella Gray. Let's pull. Do you have any specific strengths? Not really. We'll do old school heel, Cocky. And we'll just have her. So again, we were just talking about theming, but right now, you know, we're gonna have to see what we want with these guys, and how we want to have them themed. You know, again, I think Nighthawk will fit well here. Doesn't need to be rethemed. Kimberly's tough because I don't know what we can really do here to change her character. Same thing with Eddie Kingston. But we might see how we develop. Darby Allin, I think we want to rename as something else. He doesn't have an alternate gimmick already, no. So let's give him an alternate identity for now. He's already rated as a weirdo. So let's go ahead and figure out something we're gonna have for him. All right, so let's start honoring some names of previous Cyberpunk movies. So we're gonna call him Gaff, who was Edward James Olmos's character in Blade Runner. Obviously, a very different character here because I feel like he's gonna be kind of like a drug-addled gang leader, right? So we're gonna have. So we're gonna have Gaff is the competent and dangerous gang of enforcers. Inflict terror. So we're gonna have him like kind of like. So again, we might have to get some people for him eventually, but maybe we'll build something up here where Gaff is sort of like this drug-addled, like psycho, who's just here to mess things up, right? Nighthawk, I think we're gonna keep the same, but I actually this is dumb. This is a really dumb move, but I just want to do Night.Hawk to just increase the dumb cyberpunkness of it, as though he's just like an executable, right? Like he's part of the .Hawk executables, and he's just one of many. The Whisper is fine. I think we're gonna find some people to be his part of his crew, and I think we're gonna have a couple different kind of couple different stables starting to form here. You know, I think the Whisper will probably have a stable, and Gaff definitely, and obviously the Hawks, and that will probably be where we're building up. Part of our roster will be about getting them in, and figuring out who we want to have here. Pillman's fine. I mean, it's probably fine. I don't know. You guys let me know. Because at the same time, I could see everybody having an alternate identity. That could be really cool. And I like the idea of retheming them based on famous sci-fi characters. You know, like would Brian Pillman be kind of cool if we just renamed him like Brian Deckard, right? And like gave him sort of this Blade Runner character persona that he's playing within our world. I want to hold off for now, but let me know in the comments what you feel. Should we rename everybody? Should we just rename some people? You know, how far do we go with the theming? when it comes to our own little cyberpunk universe. Because I don't hate the idea of just renaming everybody. But I don't know if we necessarily need to. Like, even when I think about, like, if we're styling off of Lucha Underground, not everybody has been renamed, right? Like, they may play different versions of themselves, but they're still them. They're not everyone is this alternate version, or completely renamed. They all have a bit of a bit of a tweak, but then you have people like a Matt Cross who's playing a completely different character, right? So let me know what you guys think, how you want to approach it, and I think we'll make that decision and add that to the next Cyberpunk. Okay, so for now that looks good. I think our roster is good for now for the first couple shows, but we know we want to build up where we need to be. Do I have so face? That's fine. Mid card's a little face heavy, but that's fine because they can go up to the upper mid cards and get kind of knocked down. And that looks right. Okay, I think that looks pretty good. We're almost actually at 50-50, but it'll be fine. So let's go ahead and let's sim to the next show, and then we'll do our very first show of Cyberpunk. So we're back. What? CCW announced last night that they would have completed signing of Mike Quaggenbush. What? Is he? I mean, I guess the owner of another wrestling promotion can go to one. That's weird. Huh. Okay. Well, you know, it kind of started as a CZW offshoot anyway, so I guess that makes sense. Boy, that's weird. Some weird happenings going on in this save day one. But, you know, what are you gonna do, I guess? CCW is doing a lot of stuff here. BJW's getting Kota Ibushi. Okay. Weird. Tom Pritchard's going to Lucha Underground. Okay. Weird. Some odd stuff. All right, so I want to do a quick other update. I think I want to change some of these other characters. I was thinking about it as we were waiting in between, just because I'm like, Stella Gray, who cares, right? Brandy Lauren. Let's change some of these. So, well, actually, what's your alter ego? Do you have anything that's... Nah. So, let's change it up. Again, trying to go for some more themes. I'm going to call you Nexus. Just to have kind of more of a... Just more of that cyberpunk theme going on. I just kind of want that kind of permeating through the entire promotion, right? That we're having those cyberpunk characters. So same way, again, honoring kind of that legacy. She's gonna be called Stella Gray is now gonna be called Stella Pricks. Actually, let's just keep Pricks. I like these quick one words, you know. We'll develop some characters for them as we go, but I like the idea that so Pricks and Nexus. So we're kind of starting to build up some of those other more cyberpunky names for some of the other wrestlers that maybe don't have some name appeal, right? Maybe that's the way we go. Let me know. So like maybe Kimberly and Eddie Kingston and Brian Pillman, because they're well known elsewhere, kind of can have their regular names, but other people will start to kind of get rebranded as we move them up. Ace Austin might be one that we do as well, but he's fine for now. All right, let's go ahead and book our first show. We don't have any storylines written yet, but we'll do that in between. Wow, it's loud. In between the booking process, and we'll start to build stuff up. We only need probably two storylines with more 23 heat to meet demands. So we only need two storylines, which is fine because it'll probably be about one for the Grand Champion and one other sub storyline for like mid-carders that we'll kind of play with. Let's go ahead and book it. Well, actually, first we have to get to the show. Let's see. We do have a locker room incident. No relationships with anybody. What is this incident? That's funny. Kimberly's our wrestler's court judge. Nexus was found guilty and sentenced to buy drinks for everyone. That's fine. Let's go ahead and meddle. Let's try to produce a relationship with people. We'll do Pillman and we'll do Kingston. Nothing. God, that's so loud. They're just so obnoxious out there. So, we need to have a venue in the tri-state area. Not a lot of places that's going to work for us. So we're going to pick the best venue. It's going to just be some generic one, and that's fine. One of the things we could look at is investing in our own little garage, right? That can maybe hold like a couple hundred people, because it'll be a little bit cheaper, maybe, than some of these other places, and would be a hotbed, which is something you want, right? Like 2300 Arena is a hotbed for wrestling. The fans are hot for it. They're excited. They'll get a higher boost because it's your own place. If it's your own garage that you have, I mean, like the Chikara Wrestle Factory is literally next door to it's like in a little factory, right? Maybe we just get a little shed somewhere, and we book from there. All right, so let's go ahead and book the show, and see how our very first show of Cyberpunk goes. All right, we got a show, 103 minutes, 10 segments. Hopefully we don't lose all our money. But we didn't use everybody, but we used a lot of people to set up about 4 different storylines that are going on. So let's go ahead and take a look at it. So we start off with Neuromancer introducing the show, and the inaugural showing of Cyberpunk shows that he has a Cyberpunk Grand Championship, and it says that he will be offering an open challenge as the champion every night for anyone that wants to come and face him. He gets a fan favorite debut. It goes great. Gets the show hotter. Now remember, we're a tiny little thing, so these ratings don't scale based on the size of the show. So you're not going to get A's and B's relative to the size. This is a global rating. So for us to do really well, like a D might be an equivalent to an A for what we have, right? So an E19 is not horrible. We're trying to avoid F pluses and below. So anything above 10 is kind of what we're trying to shoot for in terms of progressing the momentum of our local Fed. So keep that in mind as we move forward. This is actually a pretty good showing from Neuromancer. We have a match with Night.Hawk versus Young Boy Jody, and it's okay. Decent reaction from the crowd. They were a little heated up for it. Night.Hawk defeats Jody in 11 minutes by submission. Nighthawk debuts his gimmick as average, and Young Boy Jody debuts his gimmick. It's actually very good. Mia Martinez is not a good referee, so we'll have to look at that going forward. But this was a work the crowd match, and that kind of made it a little awkward. Nighthawk has a 24. It's actually not bad for what we have right now. It's not horrible. Something to keep in mind going forward. Obviously, we have some plans for the Hawks as they come in. And afterwards, we have a very odd backstage interview, which actually does really well. A backstage interviewer who we really don't have anybody. It's just somebody we pull off the street. Attempts to interview Nighthawk, and Nighthawk just is silent on the microphone before just walking away. Right? Because he's like, all the Hawks are kind of like these robots in our show, so they don't talk. They just go out, they go fuck shit up, and that's it, right? So again, we're trying to just debut as many people as possible, get some momentum on their side. I think the only one we don't do is Eddie Kingston, just because I wanted to save money, and we'll do him on the next show. It's terrible wrestling and non-existent crowd heat, though. It does really bad. We have Brian Pillman versus Nexus. Pillman defeats Nexus. They both get pretty good things for their pretty good ratings for their gimmicks, though. Pillman's getting better at it. Got the crowd hotter, though. They're both okay. They're both young. They can improve very quickly. you'll see that they're going to be improving their performance skills quite a bit. But a Nexus was off her game, so she probably would have been closer to a 22 with Pillman. It's not an F. It's not horrible. We have The Whisper versus Ace Austin. Again, it's okay. We'll see. Whoa, there's a lot of stuff going on here. So we have The Whisper versus Ace Austin. It's a decent reaction from the crowd. Terrible wrestling. Ace Austin defeats The Whisper in 13 minutes. That seems wrong. I thought I had The Whisper win. Well, I guess I screwed that one up. The Whisper was supposed to win. Whisper debuted as gimmick, was fine. Whisper's visibly tiring. Pretty vocal crowd was particularly thrilled to see Ace Austin wrestle. I feel like Ace Austin always gets screwed over in any of our saves that we have him in. I'm curious what the mechanic is that gets a crowd to dislike seeing a wrestler. And maybe it's just a low period of time. Whisper sustained a leg injury. That's not good. Got the crowd buzzing going, though. That's not bad. And Ace Austin is improving his skills. So I guess afterwards there was this gimmick, maybe The Whisper after the Ace Austin's hands raised because Ace Austin went into business on his own and decided to win that match. The Whisper beats him down, stands over his body, and examining it silently before shaking his head and departing. So we have the storyline is advancing of The Whisper, a dark shadow looms, and gains some heat from the segment. Wow, this does really well. So a freestyle segment with Kimberly interview afterwards, saying she's excited for the promotion to prove herself. She does a 58C, does great, decent average rating for her gimmick, but not bad. Just the juice that we needed. So this is like an A++ for us. That is very rare to get a C at this early in the game. The match fares not as well, but does pretty good. 31 E+. Kimberly had an in-ring performance of 35. Prix had a in-ring performance of 20. She has a fine debut for her gimmick. It's not bad. And she improved in a lot of skills with Kimberly in there, which is good. Ultimately, Kimberly obviously defeats Prix with an armbar. And afterwards, after Kimberly is celebrating, Gaff comes out and debuts and attacks Kimberly after the match. So kind of building up a potential feud between this weird creep gang leader Gaff and Kimberly. He debuts his gimmick, it gets above average rating, and Kimberly Proving Ground has started with the segment. So it does fine. This 30 is really good for us. Ooh, bad main event though. Because we're going to get the belt off of Neuromancer, but, obviously we started with it. Terrible wrestling, non-existent crowd heat. Neuromancer defeats, we grab some local in 20 minutes with a Blade Runner. Makes defense number 1 of the Cyberpunk Grand Championship. Now, remember, I feel like I need to boost his ratings up, because he really shouldn't be enhancement talent. I don't remember what I had him at for the first game, but he should be kind of a upper mid-carder for us for a while. Because the idea is that having him also be a wrestler is going to make it cheap for us, help us. And as we develop, we start to move him further into backstage roles. So I'm going to have to tweak it off camera, because I think he needs to be doing better than that. He should be getting at least what Kimberly's doing. He should be doing 30s is what he needs to do. So I think I just need to tweak his stuff a little bit. Bad match, though, but he retains his title. These shorter matches. Don't have enough interesting storylines going on, so we need to have a few more storylines probably, but it did increase our popularity. I do want to who was it? It was Nexus was off her game a little bit. I just want to tell them to do better. Just saying, hey. What's going on, Ace Austin, I'm going to give some encouragement to. There we go. That's fine. So we're going to have to tweak that. I don't like him being that low. He should be one of our top workers for now. So we'll have to tweak that and change that up for him. But that's fine. We can tweak it. I probably just set the settings wrong. When I had rebuilt this save, perhaps something was funky there. All right. So, we got some emails. Let's check it real quick. Whisper is injured. We should see what it is. As you know, the Durgertime curse will continue regardless of what save you're on. 17 days. So he just injured a little bit. Not too bad. We can protect him and he'll be fine. We did lose $900 from that performance. That should be fine because we should be getting probably, we'll be getting about $1,500 a month in sponsorship. So if that's all we're spending, that won't be a problem. Anyways, though, that was a day one of Cyberpunk. We have another show, and then what we're going to do is have, like I said, an event probably once every other month is how we'll run it. So that'll be kind of a big little storyline blow-off every month, and that will probably get us the momentum that we want, because we started at 0 prestige, 0 momentum, so we're slowly moving up the ladder, and that's sort of our goal, is to slowly move this up. We need 11 importance in each region in order to actually move this small. We started with 10 popularity, but no real importance. So we're at 9 importance now. We will look at probably next week, looking at maybe pulling some heavy hitters from CZW or Chikara from the local feds to get some more popularity. Putting some celebrity wrestlers in to fight Neuromancer will probably give us a bit of a boost before we probably drop the title to somebody on the roster main. But that'll be kind of how we run that to try to get that momentum going, is we're going to have bring some names in, get some draws, that kind of thing. All right, guys, thanks for watching today. I'll see you next time.